writer.
I'd like to welcome to the stage, I was going to say David Jakić, and he's the director of APAC for a global marketing and events agency and the CEO of a worldwide software company. He's going to tell you more about his story, but this guy has multiple successes in scaling his company and then making exits. And he's going to be telling you all about international expansion and the strategies and insights for success. So for all of those that do want to grow, expand, scale, and maybe make an exit, which means sell your business or be acquired so you can live your life easily, which he doesn't do, you're going to find out exactly how. So let's welcome to the stage David Jakić. Would you like a rakie before you start? Oh, dobro. It will come on now, don't worry. Can we have a microphone for David, please? He might be Australian, but we do want to listen to him.
Not many people do, don't worry. You know what, we're in Croatia, why not?
Cheers, I can't have any more.
My dida would be upset if I didn't do it.
Ajde. Živjeli. Guys, David, round of applause.
Wow. Can I start with, this is the first time that I've been on stage without having old men in front of me and no roof. This is actually beautiful. So I'd like to thank a couple of people. First of all, where's Tony, Romana, Nicolina? Where are you guys? Where are you at? Can we get a round of applause for those guys? This is amazing. You don't understand the amount of tech hubs and that, and this amount of work it takes. Well done, guys. So, what am I here for? Thank you for the introduction. I love Crow. I normally come here to see Baka and Dida, or Zagrebu, and I go see my family in Ilok, and then go to the beach or go away. It's been really, really sad. And I guess if I'm talking about why I love it and why I'm back here again, I spend more time here in Dubai, helping other people grow and connecting them and investing in companies. At the moment, we've got something like 11 in our portfolio, yet I have got none here. So how better to go? I'm passionate about tech. We're passionate about investing. We're sitting at about 4 global exits at the moment. I spend most of my life kind of traveling between Dubai and Australia, and if I can help anybody, I thought, well, put my money where my mouth is. So I'm going to bring someone else to stage because I'm very, very lucky that we have her here tonight. She is an incredible woman. She is a CEO of an investment fund that invests globally. She's also been in the Forbes magazine. She's also been FinTech Leader of the Year. She loves startups. She's passionate about tech. And we have 4 kids together. So Carolyn Breeze, can we get a round of applause, please? And she's stunning, by the way, better looking than me.
Oh dear.
Hey there.
Hey, this is special though, with no roof. This is nice.
So what gives us the right to be in front of you guys right now? As I mentioned before, an incredible woman. You probably know those brands. Your turn.
Oh, it's for me? Okay. By the way, this wasn't rehearsed. He told me 2 days ago that he was going to invite me up, so this is all new. I've been very, very fortunate in my younger years in Australia to work for some global tech companies where I got to learn about what it takes to scale companies globally, particularly with a commercial kind of mindset. So I was always working in commercial sales roles or leadership roles that were all about expanding overseas. And I was really fortunate that I was able to do that in the comfort of big companies like eBay and PayPal with big budgets and with a lot of support around me. And that's not the case for startups. After I left eBay and PayPal and Braintree, which was about 10 years of my life, I then went to work for startups that wanted to scale internationally, because that had been my role within eBay and PayPal. And it's a completely different playbook when you've got a lean team and a very low budget and you don't understand international markets and can't afford to enter them the same way an eBay or a PayPal come. But that's what I'm really passionate about. And so 2 years ago, I stepped out of scaling companies and I stepped into investing in companies. And in Australia, the company I run is called Scolari Partners. We have 30 investments globally. We're a very new investment fund, but we also own a female accelerator program called Tech Ready Women, which is government funded, and we've had 3,000 women go through the program in the last few years, and I'm very, very proud of that.
So why is that important? Oh,
Okay.
yeah. I told you, inspirational. Haha, mine. Why is this all important? Is because we get you. I've never really been an employee before. I've started my first business when I was in my 20s and sold it to Rocket Internet. And I wish I had someone alongside me that told me some of the tricks, because it probably would have changed the way I did things. So why are we here now? Why is it important for you guys to think internationally? One of the things that we've realized is your time is so precious as a startup and a scale-up. You need to pick that wisely. And you need to concentrate on what your product is, who your target market is, and also, someone told us today, we had a meeting with someone, and hopefully he's not here because he might throw something at me, but I'm going to use his comment. Why would someone pick a Croatian startup? I never want to hear that ever again. That is not what this is all about. You guys have a product, you know where to go, it just need a bit of help getting it through. So, why expand internationally? Well, market growth, right? At the end of the day, Croatia's amazing, Slovenia's amazing, Bosnia-Herzegovina is amazing, but also, US doesn't always have to be the next one. We spend a lot of time in the UAE. We spend a lot of time outside of Europe. There are markets there that are untapped, and especially in the technology sector. And I think when you are reviewing your business case and business plan, your market should be very clearly identified, because your time is precious, and so is your cash flow. We've put in a lot of the things today. We've tried to make it really easy, so we will be rushing through a couple of things, but at the end of it, we'd love to talk to you if you do have any more questions. Revenue diversification. Don't be afraid to step outside the box a little bit, especially if it is in a market that can give you access to more partners or more capital. It might not be the right place for you to be increasing your capital here. You never know. Could be Germany, could be US, could be Australia, who knows?
Innovation and talent access. COVID definitely opened our eyes to what's possible when it comes to hiring internationally and working virtually. And I know that you probably all felt the leapfrog that we did down in Asia around how easy it was to do business globally during that time. And one of the things that has eventuated out of that in the Australian and the APAC market globally is that now it's not uncommon for companies to have their first hires in an international market. And in fact, there are governments around the world incentivizing startups to enter those regions by offering them a talent pool and access on the ground to talent. A good example of this is Ireland. So the Ireland government has offered startups. They can help them establish an entity in that market, and they can help them hire their salespeople, their engineers and developers, and get a footprint, as well as open up to their first few clients in that area as part of an incentivization to get startups to go to that market. And there are other regions doing the same thing. So there's one thing to understand that you can hire talent globally, and you need to do that when you're expanding. but it's another to think of it as a way to get great talent into your business. Even if you're not ready to take that next step, sometimes that's the natural place. Competitive advantage, this one's interesting. I think when we think about competitive advantage and scaling globally, we think about our competitors domestically or locally. So how we think about, becoming a global entity and how that will differentiate us in the market that we're heading to. But there is so much to learn from doing research and getting to understand another market that it can also help you differentiate and be competitive at home in your home market. And so I think that's a huge opportunity. We see a lot of companies in APAC and the UAE grow and get to a significant size and think maybe that's enough, maybe I don't have to grow anymore. But looking into those other countries isn't just about expanding for revenue, it isn't just about growing into those countries, it's also about bringing those learnings back to maintain your competitive advantage in your own region. And obviously global brand presence. I mean, that's not for every company. I think one of the things we spoke about right before we came up off the back of the panel was just to remind you that, our experience is in tech companies as well. So we're used to scaling tech companies where it is important that you do have a brand that's recognised in those additional regions. But obviously, that makes a big difference to investors as well when they can see that you have gone into other countries that would be typically difficult to enter, so that you have proven that you can make that leap.
And we are going to tell you how we've done it on some things. So we're going to try and give you as much information in this time as possible. So this is how we have found it easy. Now, again, every vertical is going to be different. Every one of you here is going to look at things differently, and every one of you have a different client. And I'm happy, I can see people taking photos. I'm happy to send things anywhere if you guys want. I go back to my previous statement. Time and money for a startup and a scale-up is crucial. Manage it well. When you've got a big backer behind you, okay, maybe you can go on a bit of a hiring spree. But make sure you have a strategic plan of who your market is, where you are going, where capital is good, and when you kind of look at your capital, please make sure you are thinking about your strategic capital. When you're looking at investors, make sure you accept an investor that can help you scale, or open a door, or open a region, or fill a gap that you don't have. So you need to understand your business well. Gradual expansion approach. Please don't go out there and just shoot anything. Just make sure you are clear with your objectives, who your market is, who's your client. The way that we've done it, and one of the companies that's in our portfolio at the moment that just went global within 2 years, we've done a strategy on 3 verticals. We've got about 20, but we enter a market with 3 clients. We don't go too big, we don't go too small. We pick a client that can move the needle. So in the UAE, we've got a hotel group called Melia. They've got 300 hotels around the world. That was our first client. That just expanded us in that vertical. We also look after Etihad. Etihad is one of our trophy things or clients. That opened us up to every other stadium in that area. Be very clear around who you're targeting so you're not wasting time.
Local partnerships. I love this one. So when startups are looking at going international, they often assume that the sales approach or the go-to-market approach needs to be the same. So if in Croatia you're a direct-to-consumer or a B2B product, you assume that when you go into an international market that you need to replicate that because that's the success that you've had at home. But this is not always the case. One of the investments we've made, they're a great example of this. They're a fitness app based out of the UK. And in the UK, they were a direct-to-consumer app pre-COVID. And during COVID, with the rise of Peloton and all the other in-home fitness activities that came with that, they lost their growth potential and their market share. And they started to look abroad at different markets. And they realised that the best thing they could do was to become a B2B2C model and to actually go to market in other countries with white-labelled partnerships. So to not go directly themselves, to allow a partner to expand on their behalf. and to change the model to a B2B2C model so that a healthcare company or an airline is then paying for the fitness app for the end consumer as an incentive to win or retain that customer. So thinking about local partnerships, that's an example. There are hundreds, depending on the vertical you're in as well. Like, I don't know if anyone is in fintech. Oh, I'm so alone. Oh, yes? Yes. So you can't actually survive without partnerships. 40% of your product is leveraging other people's parts of the ecosystem, right? But there are partnerships, particularly in verticals like fintech, and there are others that's so key to your market entry. So I think that's a fantastic strategy. And I've worked in organisations where we have made the decision to enter one market first over another, purely based on whether or not we felt the partner we had in that market was going to be the stronger go-to-market partner. That's how important it was. And the last one being compliance and localization. Compliance probably makes my fintech friend twitch a little bit, but compliance and localization is key. Ensuring it not only complies with local regulation and standards, but also localizing the offering. I've got, unfortunately, another fintech example, so it may only resonate with one person. But I was once part of an organisation that moved into 9 countries in 4 weeks. And there was just a fundamental mistake that we made with the number of digits you could enter in a phone number upon sign up. And it cost us heavily when it came to gaining traction and customer acquisition in those markets. So there is obviously language and all the basics, but there is a whole bunch of stuff behind that as well. But yeah.
And I think in the last panel, it was mentioned, get a good lawyer and accountant. That was a great comment from the last panel.
It's a false economy not to have a good lawyer.
Yeah. Again, we're looking at the time, so we're going to try and speed things up a little bit. But guys, market research. Do your research. It's a big world. I know we live in Croatia, and I'm very passionate about that, and I really want to have a success story out of this, and I want someone here to have one. Just do your market research. You really don't understand how much that will be. But also, don't think just because, like I heard today, we are a small Croatian startup, they won't use us. Get that out of the vocabulary. It's mindset.
I'll jump in. Yeah. So when you were saying before, you'll speed it up, you meant, babe, speed it up.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, you did.
I would never say that.
Yeah.
I'll let them do that.
Okay. So entry strategies, same thing. I kind of touched on partnerships before. That's a key one. So whether or not you decide to actually land in country and set up an office and hire or send people over, which is always my favourite, sending someone from head office over to be the first boots on the ground and do the market research and also help you make those first hires is important. Partnership. So do you just find a local distributor? Do you white label your product? Do you find a go-to-market partner? Or do you allow someone to resell on your behalf? And then licensing and franchising. There's a lot of companies, I don't know if there's any medtech, agri-tech or biotech here tonight, but that is a really easy way to expand for those verticals is to just allow licensing into those other countries. Therefore, you're not having to do the heavy lifting yourself, but the revenue and the growth is still there.
And of course, adaptation. Again, goes back to market research. Just understand, don't be afraid to change your marketing or your go-to-market for that area. Keep your values, your morals, your base. I'll talk about in one of the slides later about how I did it with Lively and how we kept that going to make sure that in every region we go into, we don't lose the focus of the business, but we expand rapidly. There you go. Actually, here it is. So this is a live one actually going on right now. So we invested in a company a couple of years ago. It was called Lively. It's a QR code ordering business. To be honest with you, I don't like doing things on a little basis. So we took them out of Australia and opened them up in the UAE. As you can see, we pick one stadium, one hotel group, one coffee chain. So I kind of did the strategy forward. We've jumped from being literally a startup to we did one investment with a global marketing and events company. And the next investment that we're taking on now, which we don't actually really need it, but I'm doing it for a strategic perspective, is a $30 million seed round. So, and in the UAE, that's normal. Now, again, I go back to why I'm doing it. I'm not looking at dumb money. I'm taking on investors that can open doors. We're talking about big stadium owners, big hotel owners, anything that will benefit. So we're strategic around how we're doing it. Ultimately, there's always going to be challenges. It's how you overcome them and your team you have around you. So where is your time best spent? Where is your mindset at? Where is your product at? What's your cash burn? I know, and I hear this, and we hear this often, US, we need to move to the US. One of the biggest things, and I'll let you use that saying because it's your saying, but US isn't the only other country in the world. Recommendation would be, guys, get your cash flow up. Cash is king. You need to know what your cash burn is. Get a good bucket of money, then go to the US. Because otherwise...
Yeah, the US is a very capital consumptive market. In APAC, we have a saying which is there's many dead bodies on the road to the US. It takes a lot of money to get established and get success in the US. Maybe we'll just skip to the end.
Yep.
Because I have a message I'd love
Tony,
to share.
am I in trouble yet? Not yet? Okay, cool. So there is, I guess ultimately what we want you guys to take away is, you mentioned it before, if you are looking to expand your company, start with that in mind. It's great to have a company that works here and it's beautiful and it might generate some revenue. And if that's what you want, perfect. But if you want to grow and be ambitious and have a company and do what my stupid head does all the time, think globally first. What is your market? What's going to be the best? Who can you talk to? How many connections can you make? Don't be afraid to walk up to somebody and say, hi, this is what I do. Don't worry about it. They're going to say no or they're going to say yes. Go to everybody. I don't sleep. It annoys the shit out of her. Okay, but guess what? At 2 o'clock in the morning when I'm on a call, the only time that I'm ever getting involved now, and obviously this has taken years, is to normally close a deal because my team have the same values as me and I've built that in the culture. And I know that in the last panel that was getting spoken about. It's okay to think big, but you need to plan.
I just want to share one really selfish message before I go. It'd be remiss of me not to be standing on a stage in Croatia and not be giving...
And by the way, it's the first time in Croatia, and she loves it, so yes.
Yeah, I do, I love it. It'd be remiss of me not to mention this, but if you are a female founder, or you know a female founder who wants to expand their business globally, please connect them with me. Because if they have gotten to the stage where they have got a business together and live and they are thinking of expansion, they have done it with very little self-belief, nowhere near the same network or support or financial support of their male counterparts. So if they've managed to get to that stage and have a startup and they want to expand globally, I will be their biggest fan because I know what they're capable of. With a little bit of support and levelling the playing field like their male counterparts, imagine what they can do. Please connect them with me.
Thank you, guys. Oh, hang on, we've been told to stop. I'm not in trouble yet, or am I?
Look, hold on, I need this. You're not in trouble, you're in Dalmatia. You're -5, but you also have another 5.
Okay, awesome. All right,
yeah,
amazing.
so we have got a microphone, right? Yes, good. Do we have any questions? Okay, this has been a very very informative session about scaling your business. You've also had an offer, Carolyn. If you're a female founder, she got the money. Disu pare, ona ima. Okay. So does anyone have any questions for these guys? Obviously, they're going to stay around afterwards. But if you have, wave. Oh, here we go. We've got a question over here. Can I get? That's it. Run. Aide.
And there is no dumb question, guys.
There's no, yeah, exactly. Pomalo, Aide. Okay, we have one question. Let's hear it.
Hello. So I guess what you said is when you start your business, started with the mindset of I want to go globally, but what would you say? Because like it's not an easy thing to start a business in one country, but like starting it right away with the mindset, oh, I want to go globally, and I haven't even started it yet. I feel like I don't know how do you manage like what would your advice be to like
Me.
yeah.
You want to go?
Me.
Okay.
Then you go.
Okay, you
Me,
go. All right,
me,
you go
me,
first,
me.
babe. I'm not getting in trouble.
So in the examples that I was sharing, and I think is particularly important for technology companies, because you created technology to solve a problem, but then when you do decide to go global, if the product that you've created and the tech you've built has limitations because of the providers that you've chosen or because of the way it's been built or the code that it's been written in, or you're unable to manipulate that and make it adaptable to other markets, then that's a problem, because then you've got all this tech debt you've got to go back and restructure. So when I think about globally, I think about a technical perspective. Everything you build and put in place, you need to be able to adapt globally if necessary.
I'll give you a perfect example. So in creation of, especially tech, obviously, look, we're passionate about tech, we understand that. So in any platform, you have a base. That base platform, as long as you can add on to that and then create for that region, but you will have a core piece of product that everybody loves, or what is your core piece of difference, that is what should be scalable. So the live, I guess, example I'm going to give you is, sorry, I'll go back to Lively because obviously it's one that I'm working on right now. We have a base product that's a QR code that has everything from start to finish. I adapt that to every region we go to. So we change the vertical, we change a photo, we adapt on this change. The minor changes we make in those verticals, in those regions, takes my engineer, or a couple of engineers, a couple of days. But it's the base product we built that solves the problem. And that is what people are adopting.
And you chose AWS, a global partner, and Stripe, a global payment partner. So you don't enter a market and get stuck without a cloud provider or a payment provider.
I can enter a country within, obviously compliance, let's talk about platform. I can enter a country in 3 days. Outside compliance, obviously, as you can imagine. But to get in, set up a client, 3 days.
Okay, we're going to stop with questions, but like it's easy to find David because he's wearing a pink blazer, yeah, which not many Dalmatian guys do. So find David, find Carolyn upstairs. Thank you, David, so much for also bringing Carolyn to the stage. 2 for the price of 1. Amazing. Thank you very much,
Welcome.
guys.
Thank you guys
See
very
you
much.
up there.